Hey there, sister. Welcome back to the Girl Out of Order podcast. Wow, I cannot believe that I am recording the final podcast of 2024. That's insane to me. It literally feels like it was just yesterday that I was recording the first episode of 2024 and feeling so filled with excitement and embracing my word of ascension, that 2024 was my year to ascend. And I was so pumped up and so ready to have the most epic year ever. And as we end 2024, as it comes to a conclusion, I was wrestling honestly with how I was going to tie up this 3-part series on designing your destiny. As you know, if you've been tuning in, that I'm sharing about what I learned at the 2024 Tony Robbins 6-day Odyssey, as I call it, Date with Destiny. And the first 2 episodes have been really beautiful and have really formed the foundation of what I learned and how it's impacting me, in the hopes that it would help you with whatever it is you're processing through. And as I was talking to my assistant and saying, how do I tie this up? What do I end this with? I came to the conclusion that it's not an ending, it's actually a beginning, because 2025 is literally right around the corner. Like, I can see it. I can see it. It's right there. And I've done a lot of thinking and preparing and dreaming, and I'm on the verge of doing some manifestation work for my 2025. And the phrase that kept coming up to me, and I was like, oh, this is so tired, was new year, new you. And I thought, this just doesn't align with what I am thinking about and what I really learned at Date with Destiny that I'm carrying in to 2025. And so I did a little chat GPT take on that. And as I and my friend Zakio call him Chad, we call chat Chad because why not? It feels like a living, breathing organism that really knows me. And me collaborating with Chad came up with not new year, new you, because I don't think we need a different person. But here's the title for today: New Year, True You. Designing your destiny, sisters, requires knowing your identity. Understanding who you are is the prerequisite to designing a destiny, a life, a gorgeous, compelling existence you really love, that juices you, that gets you up in the morning. You got to know who you really are. Now, you know that Girl Out of Order is an identity podcast, that we talk about a lot of just identity work, knowing who you are. What do you love? What do you hate? What are your values? And then we take that identity mindset and we apply it to life situations that we're going through, things that maybe cause pain, need some guidance or some inspiration or some celebration. But at the core of Girl Out of Order is fully embracing your unique self and refusing to no longer contort your beautiful self to fit a mold you were never designed for. And just getting back to some basics of, why did I start Girl Out of Order? Why? Why did I start this podcast? Why did I start this movement? And it all came from this desperation, exhaustion, if you will, of just being so sick and tired and done with softening my edges, chiseling myself down, shrinking back, dimming my light so that other people felt comfortable, so that other people weren't offended, to fit a mold or expectations or protocols, or I don't know, I'm running out of words. I mean, I need chat GPT right now, but just to fit into a mold that wasn't me. And so when I started Girl Out of Order, the tagline I came up with, and as I did my branding work with Amy and Juliana, we kind of wrestled with different taglines. And honestly, I cannot find one that is more perfect than what, when not fitting in, is the perfect fit. Because what works for Sally isn't going to work for Christine. What works for Zacchaeus is not going to work for Sharon. Because here's the thing, you sister, and I am speaking right to your heart today. You are uniquely designed to be the fullest expression of you. I often end our podcast by saying, keeping a girl out of order, because the world needs what only you can bring, what only you can provide. And I don't say that as some kind of catchphrase. It's a truism, because there's only one you. There's nobody in this world that has your fingerprints. Think about that. Or your DNA. Think about that. You are uniquely designed to be the fullest expression of you. I often joke that when I came off the assembly line in heaven, God stood back and said, "Woo, this is going to be fun." And he didn't look at me and say, "Oh, she's going to be too much for so many people. And she's never going to be enough for many people." And yet, as I journeyed through this life, I allowed that terrible, debilitating dichotomy to show up routinely in how I lived my life, how I showed up at work or in my relationships or my health or my sexuality or my parenting. This belief, this debilitating, disempowering garbage that I was too much, that I would never be the quiet and gentle spirit that the church told me I should be, that I talked too much. I had too many opinions. I was too bold, too loud, too giddy, too silly, too depressed, just too fill in the blank. And yet, I would never be enough for my husband to be satisfied in the marriage, to be invited out on girls' nights, for my kids to be comfortable introducing their friends to me. These are the things that I told myself. I would never be enough for my mother-in-law to approve of my house. Again, you can never enough to be or to do or to have fill in the blank. And so I started Girl Out of Order. This is just a little review. I started Girl Out of Order because I needed that. I needed that stake in the ground, that truth that I am exactly the right amount, that I am the perfect freaking fit, and not fitting into what everybody else says I should do, be, have is exactly perfect. And so I want to end our beautiful 2024 by reviewing why we're here and why you tuned in and what this podcast stands for and what's coming up next and how I can serve you on a greater level. Because listen up, I don't want a tribe of women around me that are attempting to fit into some mold that isn't for them. I don't want compromisers. I don't want people who don't say what they mean and mean what they say. I want women who are stepping into their power, stepping into their femininity and their masculinity, who are wanting to grow and change and contribute and reflect and learn and be available and be present and give back. I don't know. I could keep going, but I get excited. I get juiced because what I want for this community is a place where we can feel safe, but where we grow, where we show up as we are, but we refuse to stay there. Where we're honest about what we're struggling with, but we're receptive to feedback that will help us take our lives to the next freaking level. I didn't join Tony Robbins community back in 2021 to stay the freaking same. I didn't go to Date with Destiny 3 different times and pour over this identity work for 6 freaking days to stay where I was. I want to take this to the next level, and I want you to do the same. And part of why I'm sharing this 3-part series with you is I know not everybody can go to Date with Destiny. Not everybody can do that deep work, that immersion. And honestly, it only happens one time a year. So if you didn't get it in December of 2024, if you want to do it in December 2025, I plan on being there and I'd love to have you alongside me. But we got 12 months between then and now, right? And so I want to give you an admonition about designing your destiny. You don't have to wait 12 months to take Date with Destiny. You can take some practical, small steps now that will start to move you towards designing a life of your dreams. So, where do you even start? Well, we've shared a couple things in the last 2 episodes. And if you haven't listened to them, may I gently encourage you, I'm going to strongly encourage you to go back and listen to the last 2 episodes, because those episodes really laid the foundation for what I want to share with you next. And it is, I wasn't even sure, I'm going to be really honest, when I started this podcast, when I started recording, I had something else in mind. And as I started to talk about why I started Girl Out of Order, what I wanted to share with you actually evolved on the spot, because that's the way my brain works. Sometimes it's beautiful and sometimes it's challenging. Actually, most often it's both. But I feel very led to share with you the mission statement that I wrote at Date with Destiny. And I want to pull it apart and give you some, how do I say this? Give you some inspiration, but more of an invitation. As we go into 2025, I want you to go into the new year seeking to uncover and live into the true you. So new year, true you, it's very heartfelt, because I need to hear that too. Even though I did Date with Destiny, even though I did this incredible work, I'm still going through some stuff, some junk, trying to pull back the layers of who I really am. What do I love? What do I hate? What do I need? What do I want? What do I desire? What am I afraid of? What do I need to admit? What do I need to confess? What do I need to seek forgiveness for? And what do I need to forgive? So much of that work is still ongoing within me. So I want to encourage you that I have not arrived, but I want to bring you along with me as I go on this journey, because I will be on an identity creation journey for the rest of my freaking life. Now, did you catch the word in that I just shared? Identity creation. This is the gorgeous news. You actually get to create your identity. Yes, we want to get back to our core. We want to find our way home. And as we go through life and we evolve, we actually get to create the person we want to become. How cool is that? I mean, that's amazing. So our empowereds for this episode come from the great, the one and only Oprah Winfrey. And it just aligns so much with our theme of New Year True You. She says, the whole point of being alive is to evolve into the complete person you were intended to be. Think about that for a second. It's about evolution. It's about creation. It's not about staying the same. Yes, we want to get back to our core. We want to find our way home to our essence, our true values, our most authentic self, and create a life that we really love. So at Date with Destiny, we created our mission statement, and it came after 5 days of going through our old values, our new values, our towards values, our way values, our old primary question, new primary question. There was a lot of deep immersive work that went into coming to the point where we have this mission statement that juices us, gets us excited, and is aligned with our values and our vision for where we want to go. And so I wanted to share with you my vision statement my mission statement from 2022 and my new mission statement for 2024. In 2022, I was really, after the intervention I had with Tony Robbins, was just like eyes wide open to this whole concept of letting go of victimhood and stepping into femininity and having it feel more safe and exciting and not scary and dark. And so my mission statement, let me back up a little bit. So when you do a mission statement that we learned at Date with Destiny, you engage all your senses. What does that mean? It goes like this. Well, first of all, you name yourself. You say, I, Christine, and I always say my full name. I, Christine Denise Gale. I call myself in my full name because that's what I resonate with. If yours is just I, Sally, or I, Joanne, great. But it's I, Christine Denise Gale. And then I engage my senses. See, hear, feel, and know. See that again. See, feel, hear, and know. I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know. Okay, you got that first part? You see how you name yourself. You're connecting to yourself. And then you see this about yourself. You hear this about yourself. You feel it about yourself. You feel this mission statement deeply, and you know it in your brain, right? So I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know. The next part, that the purpose of my one, and I always add this, when Tony teaches it, that the purpose of my life is, well, if you've been around me for a little while, you know that I'm a little bit more juicy than that. I need a little bit more something. So I added that the purpose of my one beautiful life, or my one gorgeous life, one of those two things comes out every time I do it. And I'd like to say one beautiful life because I want to remind myself that I got one shot at this gorgeous life and I don't want to freaking waste a moment. I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my one beautiful life is, and then you write your mission statement. So let me ask you this. If I gave you nothing else, what would you write? What would you proclaim? If you started by saying, I, Anastasia, see, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my one beautiful life is, how would you fill in the blank if I gave you nothing else? I would love to hear from you and know what you would say. So my one from 2022 is, and I'm going to hope I don't blow it. We tried. I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my one beautiful life is to be a feminine light in the darkness, fully present, serving with passionate joy. That resonated with me so much in 2022 because I was a light in the darkness for so many, and I still am. But I spent so much time being masculine and fighting and being a warrior that I lost the femininity part. So I wrote, because it's very poetic. Remember, we're engaging both sides of our brain. I wrote feminine light in the darkness. And I needed to be reminded that I was fully present in whatever I was doing, whether it was practicing law, arguing a case, sitting with a hurting daughter, listening to a friend, being sexually intimate with my husband. I wanted to be fully present because I had become so detached from life. And then I needed to remind myself that wherever I was serving, even if it wasn't my ultimate destination, that I would do it with passionate joy, that with gratitude and awareness of what I was doing was a privilege and a calling. That was so resonant for me in 2022. Fast forward to 2024. I wrote a new mission statement. And it's aligned with where I'm at now. And the reason I wanted to show you the juxtaposition between the two is because I wanted you to see how we evolve with this identity work. We're never done. And as life happens and change happens and transformation occurs, it's imperative that we rewrite our mission statement, our focus, our primary question. We recreate our identity for where we are and where we want to go. So now what is it, you ask? I'm sure you are asking. I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my one beautiful life is to be a woman of grace and gratitude, full of magnetic energy, sharing God's abundance in every area of my life. Let me break that down. I am a woman of grace and gratitude. I chose those two words so intentionally because what I realized is over the last couple years, I have lost the ability, if I had it, to give myself grace. I have beat myself up and compared myself to others' progress and told myself I'm an imposter, a failure. I've let the shitty committee find her way back in and it's taken me down and has kept me stuck and playing small. And the gratitude piece goes hand in hand with grace because when you are living a grateful life, you are not only giving grace to yourself, you're giving grace to others because you are so aware that you have received grace. So I'm a woman of grace and gratitude, and those two beautiful twins go hand in hand. And then the next part, full of magnetic energy. I love this phrase in my mission statement because it busts through that BS disempowering story that I'm too much. My husband made the observation during Date with Destiny that so many people commented on my energy and elevated it and complimented it in such a contrast to how it is sometimes when I go out in the world and my energy is looked at as overwhelming or too much. I've even been called obnoxious. Well, let them call me obnoxious because I am very proud, maybe not the right word. I am so at home with my magnetic energy and I am full of it. And I know that it draws the right people to me. And if it's too much for others, then I wish them well and bye. And then the last part, sharing God's abundance in every area of my life. What I realized during Date with Destiny is that I have been battling a scarcity mindset, a fear since my mother died that I won't have enough, that I won't be enough, that I won't do enough. And I've been fearful to take chances. And as a result, I've lost some years of progress. And so I want to celebrate God's abundance in every area of my life, but more than celebrate it, I want to share it. I want to reach out and I want to give back and I want to contribute and I want to make a difference. Because when I'm sharing God's abundance in every area of my life, it's not about X's and O's, dollars and cents. It's about the fact that I am blessed, I am called, I am highly favored. I am a blessing to be used by Almighty God to make this world a better place, to bring positivity and growth and inspiration and teaching and help and hope to so many through my story, my speaking, my teaching, my leading, my sharing. I, Christine Denise Gale, see, hear, feel, and know that the purpose of my one beautiful life is to be a woman of grace and gratitude, full of magnetic energy, sharing God's abundance in every area of my life. So my invitation to you today is to embrace new year, true you. Not new year, new you. New year, true you. Get back to who you are and then take the next step when you get back to that foundation and create an identity, a life, a gorgeous, compelling existence that you love, that gets you out of bed, that gets you fired up, that makes you aware that every day is a freaking gift because we never know how many we have. As I come up on the anniversary of my mom's death 2 years ago, I am so mindful, so aware, so cognizant of the fact that every day matters. And what we do with our beautiful life is fundamental fundamental and critical to joy, peace, fulfillment, legacy. Have you thought about that? What little eyes are watching you? What eyes at the workplace have their eyes on you and wondering what's different about her? How is she living her life differently? Maybe I can too. Because when we get out of our own way and we get out of ourselves and we start looking at how we can make other people's lives more beautiful, more fulfilling, more hopeful, we have a better, more exciting existence. Who wouldn't want that? But you got to know who you are. You got to know who you really are. It starts by asking that question. And so I am beyond excited because on February 4th, 2025, we are starting the Who Are You Really Mastermind. Originally, it was going to be called Own Your Identity. Originally, I was going to start it in June, and then I tried to launch it again in September, but due to my health issues, it had to be tabled, and it was perfect because now I've done a little revamp on it, retitling it, and it's literally a question for you. Who are you really? Who do you say you are? And I'm calling it a mastermind because it's going to be a collective sisterhood where we do this identity work together in accountability, in sharing, in vulnerability, and authenticity. It is a 7-week gorgeous program. And we're going to take a journey through the 5 phases of identity creation. These are just 5 phases. These aren't steps where you have to finish one before you get. These are phases. These are just ways that we work through creating an identity we truly love. The first phase is acknowledgement. Where the heck are you, sister? And we'll delve into figuring out where you are so you can measure it, so you can grow, and you can manage it. And then the second phase is awareness. It's waking up to what the heck is keeping you stuck, keeping you playing small, keeping you disconnected from your most authentic self. If you don't know where you are and you're not aware of what's keeping you stuck, really hard to design this gorgeous life. It's really hard to do this identity work and design a destiny, create a destiny. You can't do that if you aren't paying attention to where you are and measuring it. And then uncovering often unconscious beliefs that are going on and playing in the background when you go to show up at work and ask for that raise and your mindset says you're not really worth it. Who do you think you are? Or when you are in your partner's relationship and they're not treating you well and you tell yourself, figures, I'll never be enough. A lot of times we don't even know what's playing in our background that's keeping us stuck. So phase 2 is critical. Phase 3 is design. Design. That's when we get to start doing a lot of this work, like this life mission and the life plan or the life manifesto. And then we do evolution. So life manifesto is where we do a lot of poetry and writing and creating who you really are. Because once you start pulling back those layers, guess what? You get a blank canvas and you get to start designing and painting and creating. And if art freaks you out, if you have art shame like me, don't panic. We're not painting. Phase 4 is evolution, where we do a life masterpiece. Because here's the deal. We can do a lot of creating ideas and awareness, but if we don't put pen to paper and actually create a life that is built on this foundational understanding of who we are, we're just kind of playing around, right? And it's going to fade. And then the final phase is momentum, where we talk about how do you keep it going once you've got all this awareness and you've created this life plan? How do you keep it going? So I'm really excited. I am so thrilled, and I know that God's going to bring exactly the right women to this mastermind. So if that's you, please keep an eye out. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. I'm so excited. And I'll be honest, launching this has taken a bit of courage. I have felt like I've been standing at the top of that telephone pole in Fiji, shaking, afraid to jump. but I feel so called. And it is so aligned with my mission statement of being a woman of grace and gratitude, full of magnetic energy, sharing God's abundance in every area of my life. I want to share with you what I've learned and what I'm continuing to learn. We're going to grow together because at Girl Out of Order, we are in this together. So I'm going to leave you with that beautiful phrase. Keep being a girl out of order, because this world not only needs, but wants what only you can provide. I hope to see you in the mastermind, but if not, I will see you next week.